What is up?
Hey, everybody. Can Hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm in a hotel room in Vegas right now, and the internet's not the best.
Well, I can hear you loud and clear. So hopefully it all goes well. You never know with hotel internet. We could have a totally disastrous live stream today.
Yeah. Well, and I haven't been here for the last few weeks. It seems like my travel schedule's been a little crazy. I'm actually not traveling for work today. This is just a couple-day getaway to Vegas for me and my wife to kind of reward her for me being on the road so much lately. But it goes, I'll start this off with, being here with my wife, trying to blow off steam for a couple of days. I give you an example of, answer your damn phone, how I always preach that, and how being present and being there for your partners are so important. Last night we were waiting to go into a show at the Mandalay, I think, and 8:35 phone rings, and it's one of my referral partners. And I'm like, I take the call, I explain where I'm at, and they're like, oh, it's nothing important, hey, just call me in the morning, Perfect. But just by taking that call, it solidified the fact that I'm a true partner to him. And I know me and Andrew talk about this a lot, but it's just something top of mind this morning that I thought I'd share because it's so important. Doesn't matter if it's a phone, email, text, whatever it is, you got to be there and be present because these people are counting on us. And it just gives the mindset of, hey, these guys are on top of it. So,
yeah. And don't be afraid to be honest with them. Like, I get these phone calls, I get an 8 p.m., 9 p.m. phone call, and I'll catch it and I'll be like, hey, I'm at dinner with my family right now. Is this something we need to handle now, or can I hit you first thing in the morning? And just by me answering the phone call solidifies the relationship. And 99.9% of the time, they're like, oh, no, totally didn't mean to bother you. Not a rush, hit me in the morning. But I could have let it go to voicemail. And then what different feeling? It took 8 seconds out of my dinner to have that conversation. It's not like I lost a bunch of time with my family, but it just kind of next level solidifies the relationship with the agent. You're dead right on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and again, here at UMortgage, I mean, we have our core values. One of the biggest ones that I really adhere to is relationships, not transactions. And that's what that's all about. It's about building those relationships. And it starts with the loan officer, and it goes over to not just the loan officer, but the processors, the LCs, the whole organization from the CEO down to the janitor. I don't know if we have a janitor, but it's a whole team that makes everything work. And those relationships are so important that you build from the top to the bottom.
The janitor's Anthony Casa. He's the guy. He's always doing everything. He's crazy. Yeah. One thought I was brewing on as we had this like 2-minute countdown. I was just kind of brewing on it is the fear and anxiety in our market right now. It's reaching kind of a pinnacle. I'm having so many phone calls to me from real estate partners, from loan officers at my former company reaching out, and they're like, hey, what do you think the next 6 months is going to look like? And I just want to stress to anybody on this live stream, in times of uncertainty, people seek for information, not just a bunch of garbage, but now's the time to get out there and really start to educate people. And if you can be seen in times of anxiety, in times of fear, as a calming path forward, it's not always going to be. I mean, if you follow me on Facebook, I'm not always putting out, sunshine and roses. I'm calling BS how I see it, but I'm also providing a path forward. Like walking into this, I think I couldn't sleep last night. I got down the rabbit hole of Twitter, and I started watching these videos and found this guy that was just made some eerie comparisons between our current markets and 2008's markets. And he addressed the whole housing market side of it. And he said, I'm not talking about a housing bubble, but he said, I'm talking about deflationary money meeting banks that are on a brink of failure. And you're walking into this calamity. And I went down this rabbit hole last night, and it just reaffirmed to me once again, where my social media took off and where I started to really gain ground in business was beginning of 2020, when the markets died. And I was live stream on Facebook 4 to 5 times a day, update, 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 update. Become an educator during these times. Provide paths forward. I still believe the housing market's going to be extremely viable, extremely weather the storm extremely well because of the inventory shortage we have. But if you can get out there and at least provide education during this time, this is going to be the opportunity when things are going to blow up.
Absolutely. And you know, that's the thing. I mean, I always say that we're not salespeople. At least I never looked at myself as a salesperson. I look at myself as an originator that originates loans. I look at myself as a relationship builder, but more than anything else, I'm an educator to my referral partners and to the buyers and, you know, just anybody in general that touches the transaction. And what you were saying, there's a lot of fear out there right now. You know, a lot of these agents are a little fearful, like, hey, you know, especially somebody like me that's been in business 20 plus years, you know, I get a lot of it like, hey, you're around 2008, you know, oh my God, the sky's falling. This is 2008 over again. And yeah, there's some great comparisons out there, but there's also the argument to be made the other way, you know. And it's almost like we're a therapist to a lot of our referral partners to just say, hey, everything's good. Just calm down, you know. Let me tell you what my education of watching the Barry Habibs and reading everything I can tell us about where rates are going, which should give us some relief. Everybody feels like rates are coming down this year, more and more so than ever with this banking crisis. But, you know, it is. It's like we've got to be able to talk intelligently to our referral partners to let them have the sense that, hey, this guy, you know, my loan officer really understands it. And I have trust in him, not just, hey, what can you do for me today?
Yeah, and it's not something you can fake. You can't go out there and just fake the data and give your gut check on things. And honestly, like the phrase came to mind about, I don't know, maybe it was 3:30 in the morning. I didn't sleep much at all last night. I went down the rabbit hole, and the phrase came to mind, you know, times like this separate the men from the boys is the old phrase we've always known. But really, times like this are going to separate the originators and the advisors. And if you have just been an originator and you haven't been an advisor, you've got a very short window to fix that. And if you've just been kind of riding the coattails of good markets and you really haven't educated yourself, because obviously you can't educate anyone unless you educate yourself first. Otherwise, you don't know what you're talking about and everybody's going to see through it. But if you haven't been educating yourself, you're probably going to be out of a job in the next year. And it's just that simple. This isn't a hobby for guys like us. This is our career. This is what we do. This is what we live and we breathe and we read guidelines. Like, shit, when I got into the business, I printed out all 1,000 pages of the FHA guideline, had it spiral bound into 6 books, and I sat by the pool and read every single page. Like, this isn't just a hobby. And if you've been treating this as a hobby, I think you've got a very short window to come out and fix that and really dive in and educate yourself, or you're going to find yourself seeking new career opportunities. The mortgage industry is heavily inflated for staffing reasons, and there needs to be a shedding out, and the shedding is going to happen of the originators, not the advisors.
Yeah. And you know, obviously it looks like we're going down the path of today's theme being education and being an advisor, which is great. And I'll give you a little note. I think it was yesterday or the day before, and the Brokers Are Better group on Facebook. And if you're watching this, the guy that wrote this post, I apologize, I'm not going to say your name, but somebody went in Brokers Are Better and said, hey, you know, it's a little pricey, but I'm just torn. Is it really worth having MBS highways or something similar right now in this market? And I was like, my comment was this: if you're in Alaska, would you invest in winter coat in January? Of course you would. This is the market that you need MBS highways and all the different educational things that are out there, you know.
Right.
You have to invest the money in it. You know, you're not giving Barry Habib however much it is a month. You know, you're investing in your career, and you're investing in your clients and your realtors and anybody else that touches that loan that you provide. You're investing in them, you know, and again, I'm not trying to pick on this guy, but the way it was worded, I literally wanted to jump through the screen and like grab him by his shoulders and shake him and say, dude, what are you thinking? You know, of course you should invest in this. If you don't like Barry's price, go to somebody else's. Although I will say Barry to me is the best, you know, but there's other services out there.
Yeah. And it's in 2021, there's a lot of people that probably could have done without it. Because if you had a pulse, you were writing mortgages. I don't think I prospected once in the year of 2021. Like, I would show up to the office at 6 a.m. My phone would start ringing by 6:30 and it wouldn't stop until 10 p.m. And it was just go, go, go. Same thing, liken it to real estate agents. In 2021, you didn't need to hire a professional photographer. You could have listed a $6 million oceanfront home with 3 cell phone photos and had 12 offers by noon.
Yeah.
But in today's market, if you're a listing agent, yeah, you're going to feel the pinch because you're doing less business, but you need to hire that photographer. If you're in the mortgage market right now, you're feeling the pinch. Everyone is. Anyone who's not is lying to you. You're feeling the pinch right now. But the best money you can spend is money on educating yourself so you can educate others. I mean, what is MBS Highway? I'm not going to quote a number because I know there's different deals for different companies, but let's just say it's $100 a month. Let's just say it's 100. Okay. I would venture to say that you spend $100 a month between your Xbox subscription, between your YouTube TV, and your Starbucks 2 times over. But you're not going to pay a software that's going to give you the absolute best education to grow your business because you got a small-minded mentality. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm dropping fire today, man.
No, 100% agree. Last night we went to dinner and I think the tip for the waitress was like $70 on our dinner. I mean, I tipped the waitress $70 for helping me with my dinner. I could at least give somebody like Barry the 100 or whatever it is. Yeah, if Barry was 500 a month, which is, I know it's nowhere near that, guys. It isn't. It's
nowhere near.
But if it was 500 a month, I would still pay for it because you can't get that information anywhere else. I could go out and learn how to do the same thing Barry does and literally spend my whole day researching it, but then I wouldn't have time for anything else. So the time and effort that the team at MBS Highways does, and again, I'm not just saying Barry, it could be Hammer, it could be anybody. The time and effort these guys put into bringing the education of loan officers, it's just important. I mean, and again, I don't want this to be a commercial for Barry, but I can't say enough about how you need this service if you're in this business.
It's the best education that I've come across out there. So yeah, again, this isn't a commercial for MBS Highway in any way, shape, or form. They're not sponsoring us. I just know what I've learned over the past few years, and you're dead right. I could go get a college education in economics, and I could do the same thing Barry's doing over time. There's a reason UPS doesn't manufacture tires for their trucks. I mean, they have enough trucks. It would probably make financial sense to do it, but it takes their eye off the target of what they're actually trying to achieve. Like at some point, you just utilize third-party people to teach you what you need to be taught. It's just that simple.
Yeah. So many, I think, there's so many loan officers out there I run into, especially at our companies. I mean, luckily, not many of them I'm running into at UMortgage, but because I think the people we're bringing on board have a different mindset. But I see it out there all the time. I see it. I've been to a lot of events over the last month or two. They're still kind of on cruise control from 2020 and 2021. Like they wrote off 2022 as well. It wasn't as busy, but I needed the break. Okay. Well, fine. And we all need a break every now and then, but a lot of these guys are still resting on their laurels from 2021. And as an example of that, I got to be careful what I say, because it's not, I don't want to give too much information, but one of our branch managers here at UMortgage met with a real estate group in his city. I won't say what city because I don't want to give this away, but it is a real estate office with about 300 realtors. They do a ton of volume. And there is a retail company that most people know by name that has been in that office now for years. And the listing agent, who I think is one of the managers of the office, told our branch manager, who I won't say, that they were impressed at how the loan officer, the branch manager in this case, how he was so on top of everything of this loan, right? And they invited him in. He did a talk with him the other day, and they're literally on the verge of kicking out the retail company they've been doing business with for years, because they said, look, these guys, they don't want to work on weekends. They don't want to take calls. They're resting. They're on cruise control. They're like, hey, we got this office, so who cares?
And coming from the retail side of the world, it's from the leadership down. Like, I cannot tell you how many times over the last year I was told this is just a season in mortgages. 6 months from now, this will just be a dot on a chart. And my mindset on that just never sat right. This isn't just a season. And let's call it a season. If it's an extended season, that's for damn sure. This isn't a short season. Seasons for me are 2 months, 3 months. I'm in Florida, maybe six weeks for a season. This isn't a season. And even if it is a season, there's planting season, there's harvest season. If it is a season and it's a really long season, you got to adjust what you're doing. You're not out gathering the crops anymore in planting season. This is planting season, folks. You got to be out planting seeds and planting them every single day. But you're dead right. Like the concept from the top down at some of these big companies is just be patient. It's going to come back around. It's just a season. Not, hey, market's shifted. Get your rear ends to work. Get out there and drive, because otherwise we're not going to have food to feed you. Like the whole concept to me has always been backwards. Like, this is the season of planting seeds on a daily basis.
Yeah. And that's exactly what this retail lender is guilty of, that we're on the verge of capturing the business from that real estate office. Is they planted those seeds, they water them, they nurture them, they grew the harvest, but now they just expect that every year the harvest is going to come in on its own. And that's not how it works. It's not how it works in anything. And, so good for our guy, who I won't say it again. I don't want to give anything away because he's still working on it. But, it just goes down to, again, we were talking about education, coaching. We just opened up, we're doing a coaching class right now. We just opened up applications for a new one that's coming out in about 2 weeks. And we've already got 3 times the applications, I think, of spots that are available. But anybody at UMortgage that's watching this, still get your application if you're interested, because we're going to go through those very carefully. But I had a loan originator about 2 weeks before the last class started. And that loan originator said, I don't think I'm going to do it after all. I'm like, why? And he said, well, I got to looking up on MMI, the person that's heading up our coaching program here. And he said, I do as much as he does. And so how can he teach me? I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, not every great producer makes a great coach. Honestly, I call myself a mentor to a lot of originators. I don't know that I'm an actual coach that would sit down, take the time and do that. I can be a great mentor. But I was telling this guy, and he's in the program, he's doing well. But I was telling him, it's like, you know what? Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant both had Phil Jackson as their coach on their championship teams. Phil Jackson was a mediocre NBA player at best. Sometimes it's not about who's a great player and who's a great coach. It's a great player doesn't make a great coach. A great coach doesn't make a great player. So, but get out there. And again, if you're not using some kind of program to keep you accountable, like coaching or something, again, this goes into the education. This goes into being a true originator, a true loan advisor. You need all these tools. You should be out there doing some sort of coaching to hold you accountable.
Yeah. And I was always, it's funny. When I got in the mortgage industry, I was super bullheaded, and I got the nickname among the coaching community that I was the uncoachable one. And I mean, I went through all the big ones, and it was pretty funny. I mean, I even had Tom Ferry as my coach at one point. And like, everybody just kind of joked that, Cady's the uncoachable one. No matter what we say, he just always goes and does something else. Granted, he's successful in it. He just does it. And then I kind of realized maybe 3.5 years ago, it was more of an ego trip for me than anything. And so I stuck with the same coach. I got a coach, and I stuck with the same coach for almost 4 years straight. And I'm telling you, the little nuggets that were dropped. And yes, he's not $100 million producer. So my mentality was the same as that guy was. Like, why am I coaching with someone who does 30 million a year when I'm doing $100 million a year? I'm going to outpace him. I'm going to outgun him. But when I actually checked my ego at the door and I just started to listen, like, I'll give you one of the nuggets that changed my ever living mindset, especially in this market, was he basically had me track for 4 years how many credit pulls I pulled, and how many of my credit pulls converted. And I know we've gone over numbers on this before. So I had the metric of 27.3% of all of my credit pulls would end up in a closing room. And he had me when times got really, really tight, he would tell me, how many credit pulls did you do? And I'm like, dude, I ran like 6 credit reports this week. They were all horrible credit, and I was just negative Nancy. And he's like, dude, if you ran 4 credit reports this week and your average commission on a loan is $3,000, you made $750 every single time you pulled credit, because averages don't lie. And just that one little mindset shift, because you get in these cycles where you'll run 6 bad credit reports in a row. And rather than being pissed at the world that people have horrible credit, you can actually almost chuckle like, 432 credit score, made $750 on that one. And it's just a mindset shift. The little tiny things that got dropped into my head of a mindset shift, it made me a better leader. It made me a better father. It made me a better husband. And so get out of an ego mindset in it, because I'll own it and say my ego wasn't letting me be coached, because I thought, why the heck am I going to allow myself to be coached by somebody that can't do what I'm doing? And if you get your ego out of the way, you're dead right. My daughter plays competitive volleyball. My kids have played football. My daughter can play volleyball on the court better than her coach can. So the coach has been out of the game for 10 years. But without a coach, you don't have a team. Without a coach, you don't have skills. So you dive into it and get the nuggets out that apply to you. Be open to learning. It's simple.
Yeah, another great one too is I was like you, Andrew. I was very bullheaded about some of these coaching programs and all that years ago. And a guy that I'd run into at many events who I just always thought was the salt of the earth, loved talking to him, always made a point to chat with him, was Rene Rodriguez. But I never took Rene's class. I was like, okay. Rene and me kind of became buddies through all the events we'd meet and talk. And, we always have mutual respect for each other. But I was like, I don't need Rene's class. I don't need that. I don't need that. And Rene just politely would always ask me, hey, you never sold me. He would just always invite me, never pushy. And I kept denying that I'm not flying here to do your class. I'm not paying that kind of money. And then he actually had a program in an event in Scottsdale a number of years ago. And it was like, okay, now it's in my backyard. I've got 2 friends that are going to it that are pushing me to go.
You got no excuse.
And one of them, Mary Matling, I just spent some time in Atlanta with, and she's like, please, you got to go. You got to go. I need a friendly face there. All right, I'll go. Sam Parker's calling me saying, Todd, you got to do it. So I go, and life-changing. Literally life-changing. And so my mindset changed on coaching that day or that weekend. I walked out of Rene's event saying, I need every bit of coaching I can get my hands on. I need everything I can do to make me better. Rene just made me better. Rene made me a better speaker, but Rene taught me how to connect with people, whether it be my wife or people I work with or my customers or my realtors. He taught me just some little tricks on how to be a better person to connect with. And I watched my production increase by probably 10 or 15% over the next 6 to 8 months after I left that class that day. And my return on investment was, gosh, who knows what now, probably 100-fold or more,
There's no way to measure that ROI, man. Like the same thing. Like I went from giving presentations at real estate offices, blubbering my way through it, just rambling on, to actually giving a solid presentation. And your conversion rate just goes through the roof when you can actually connect with people. And that goes right back to the education piece. If you can connect with your audience right now is your opportunity. And if we hit the turmoil that I think is coming with financial markets having some really tough times in the next few months, there is going to be a starvation for information. And if you can be the source, if you can be the calming voice that says, hey, it looks horrible, but keep your chin up. This is where we expect this to go. This is all people are looking for, is hope. And if you can give them a ray of sunshine on a very, very, very dark day, you're going to win. It's that simple.
No, absolutely. And not to go down a rabbit hole of religion, but that's what religion is. People go to church to get hope, and it,
You're dead
regardless
right.
of what your beliefs are there, it works. I mean, same thing with our business. I mean, give those realtors and buyers the hope that, hey, you know what you're talking about. There's better days coming. Rates are coming down. At the same time, don't wait to buy a house because rates are higher today. Just refi in 6 months or 7 months or 8 months. It goes back to educating the buyers, educating the realtors, educating every person in the chain of that sale, and being an advisor, but being open to being educated yourself from them. I mean, I love when my realtors talk about seminars they go to and they try to tell me things, because I'm all ears. Like, yeah, please, I need the education back. So.
Yeah, 100%. And you're dead right. Don't ever think you know it all, because the moment you do, you know nothing. I mean, even the best of the best are always learning. And that's where the thing, tying it right back into coaching. I was at a Tony Robbins event and he was talking about life coaching. And he's like, even Tony Robbins, have a life coach that I meet with once a week. And I'm like, the ultimate life coach of Tony Robbins has a life coach that he meets with. And so these guys aren't just, they're not just walking and they're, saying one thing and doing another. They're actually walking the talk. And that is so cool to me. And that's what we all need to be doing is, grab someone's hand that'll pull you up and help you and educate you and guide you. But at the same time, reach your other hand down and grab someone else and pull them up and educate them and help them and guide them. And let's grow a community together. We don't have to work for the same company. There's enough business out there for all of us to be incredibly happy in this business. There's no reason for us to be, hating on each other as competitors. Let's help each other grow. Let's help each other educate. This is what the business is about.
Yeah. And that's so true. I mean, if you're not paying it forward, as I say, and when I say paying it forward, a guy like me, 20 plus years in business, I've had plenty of time to pay it forward. But if you've been in the business 6 months and you come across a good tip or something, pay it forward to your fellow originators, especially at your own company. But I don't mind if it's my company or not. It's all about just creating great communities. And again, that's one of our core values here is building stronger communities or I think I botched that wording of it, but you get what I mean. And by building those stronger communities, we're building relationships, we're giving better experiences. It all goes into our core values here at UMortgage. So I'd say the biggest takeaway today that I want to leave you guys with, and I'll let Andrew close it out here in a second, but my call to action to everybody's watching this, go out there and educate yourself. If you're not with NBS Highways or something similar, please get it. If you don't know who to contact, reach out to me or Andrew. We'll connect you with Barry. Renee Rodriguez. If you haven't done a Renee Rodriguez event, go to Renee's website and sign up for one of the events, and so on and so on and so on. It doesn't matter, but just get out there and educate yourself. Again, we're heading into the weekend, so call your realtor partners today and tell them, hey, we're here for you this weekend. Andrew, I'll let you close out. We got about 30 seconds.
Yeah. If you're wondering what to do now, because, everybody can hop off a call like this and be like, just, I'm gung ho, and then you do nothing. Educate your realtors this weekend. Just pick the phone up and shoot out text messages to your realtors. Hey, just wanted to let you know I'm available this weekend. I know the rates are tough. I know the market's tough. However, we have light at the end of the tunnel. We expect rates to be coming down as inflation comes down. If you got any questions, hit me up. Just start taking action. A lack of action is your problem 99% of the time. It's not intention. It's not ambition. It's action. So get out there and take some damn action.
That's it. That's all it is.
And answer your damn phones. I'll say it too.
Answer your damn phones. And next Friday, I will be in my house with normal Wi-Fi. It'll be the first Friday in a while I'm not on an airplane, but hey, whatever it takes is what it's all about. So, but have a great weekend, guys, and we'll see you next Friday.
Take care, guys.